Good Saturday. You know, it's your man Steve Godfrey coming to you from P.V.P. As we have always mentioned, we would continue to bring you these PSAs, give you the ability to engage us, bring more information as how the page would evolve, and then take the opportunity to give you the opportunity to participate. In this effort, we also want to do a quick PSA to say, tomorrow I believe we're going to do a special show. There has been some great activity that has happened over the last couple of days, starting with great minds, Chip Greenwich and company, Stella. They hosted a discussion with respect to about 10 candidates who are vying for D7. This was in the wake of City Council of Boston questioning whether or not D7 should have a special election. Valuations tomorrow. Updates tomorrow. Powerful meetings. Outcome was not that great. And so it's important for us to sit in this space, particularly look at the process, compare public notes of what I would call, how shall we say, public notes of reasonings why Roxbury didn't get its opportunity. And city councilors have taken their positions, as we've known, and that's okay. They can do that. But again, I would argue from the standpoint of what Roxbury's owed and deserving, all of that came reactionary. That will be in the context. If we were putting it in the context of what transpired at the city council, I don't know, it wasn't a hearing, it was a closed discussion among colleagues, which was procedural, by the way. The notion that you're having that important of a conversation and you didn't invite Boston in. Was it on Good Friday for a reason? So, with that being said, tomorrow we're going to bring you a special show. We're going to make sure that it's all fully put together. There may be some guests. I'm not going to give away any of the gems yet. But it's important that we look at what has transpired for D7, what has encountered by way of the city council and its hearings and the things that were revealed. I welcome folks. Go and listen to what transpired on the city council hearing, which I believe you can find it on YouTube, and put in the date, April 18th, because as you know, it was Good Friday. And so there was not a lot of activity, let's just say. My little part of skepticism with respect to democracy nowadays, clearly procedural. So, with that being said, but I also want to uplift those that are running for office. P.V.P. heard from campaigns, and there are some things coming about that is going to further uplift the candidates that are vying for office, D7, but I would probably argue at large, and then those that are incumbents. And a particular campaign has comprised some things and is trying to bring about good energy. Needed today. Needed in today's time. And you need a different way of grown folks. And people who know me talk about grown folks. Because the idea that leadership today can make insulting remarks at a hearing. So Roxbury, yes, your man is telling you to go listen. Because for some God reason, I usually tell people that the communities that are disenfranchised are further from confused than you can imagine. But in the hearing, I kept hearing incendiary language of such. And get it that no one said anything. My old guard would never allow that to happen. But this is part of that new. And I think we got to evaluate them. So, again, PVP's coming at you tomorrow. My name is Stephen Godfrey. I am the host. And, again, what we are going to do is do a little special, a longer version of the show and dive into what I call, and all of this is positive, by the way, in the long run. But I do think that from perspective of what has transpired at City Hall, get it that the three candidates who are on our side don't look like us. It was interesting because there was a whole eruption. Like, y'all gotta go really listen to this here. It was interesting. And then I invite you to go listen to the podcast that the president came on, because I think that was also telling. Because here that it's important, and this is why you gotta be always cautionary of attorneys, right? And people who claim that they're attorneys, and yours truly, undergrad legal education. So here that I go, so if I'm saying it and I'm not, right, obviously be cautious of those who will be authority. But the best part about an attorney is that you can compare things. So look at podcast shows around the decision and the names that were listed. They're not listed in the public doc. If they weren't, it was not shared at the hearing. Look at what was revealed of offline conversations at the hearing. And that there was the obligation to not, that it was encouraged that the hearing shouldn't have never taken place. That don't sound like a transparent, equitable process that the community was involved in. What we heard is that the advisory board to Ms. Fernandez, counsel, was the person, or were the recommendations by way of the community. Furnish the list. Who are they? We know them. Some serve with. But furnish the list. Show the credibility. How can someone who's going through all of this stuff then come in and say, hey, there's this advisory committee, and this advisory committee is the one that's telling us not to? Integrity is extremely important when folks are not looking, right? So that, in fact, when we see those inconsistencies, we do that. And on this show, one of the things that I'm going to pride ourselves on, we're not inviting everybody. If you come, you come. We put it out to the candidates. We want to make sure, though, that you don't come on this show. This is not going to be what I call a traditional, some of the stuff that I see podcast shows. We're not allowing people to report out and not be held accountable to facts. That's high risk to folks. Please don't put yourself in the hot seat. This is about the people, right? People Voice Project. And so if, in fact, you can't rock that way, and most of you can't, and don't come on the show legaling it up. Yours truly is an exec, real estate. I've been in this space. You ain't that good. That's all I'm going to tell you. So with that being said, what we want to say to you is that it's extremely important that if, in fact, you come on these shows like this that has no commitment, no bounds to anybody, we want to make sure that it has the values of the community at play. That's the driving factor here. The ancestors that have allowed us to come into a space and a place of leadership and be held accountable. You can't hold other people accountable for those of us who help to diversify the city. Well, you got to then be held accountable by the same standards, or as we have said, higher. So I want to make sure that you understand that there will be some more details forthcoming, and we will put them out to the public so that, in fact, you can participate tomorrow, and or if you're not able to participate, as you know, you can always go and rock on the page, right? You know, we're on YouTube, and everything will be uploaded there and our social mediums. We believe, again, your involvement will be extremely important. And about tomorrow's show, I have also talked to you guys about the ability to come on and engage. So if there are going to be some guests that are just exploring, right, we're going to be providing some information that's being flashed, right, on the bottom so that, in fact, URLs of such would then come out. You'd be able to engage. And then if you want to come on, because I think I may do the show live, I'm going to look at the consensus from folks and figure out, is there a stomach for it? But we think that's important. It's extremely important. Because if not, we want your involvement. All facts also, we want you to have the ability to go out and research. And I think that's different too. We ain't coming on the show to be your buddy. I hear that relationship happens outside of, if in fact that exists. What we're asking you to do is come and be accountable to the people of Boston, people that you serve, and if in fact you're comfortable doing that based on the positions that you've taken and the information. And again, I'm asking folks to compare what has come out recently post the hearing, again, podcast, and again, I believe we will have it as part of our production, so we will make some reference to it and show some clips. And then I think it's extremely important that you then look at the hearing. And let's do a media lit. Your boy, Steve Godfrey. Y'all have a good one. Peace. Hey, get it. P.V.P.